Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing well. So today we will be continuing on our journey and we will be starting with Android development. We will be starting with Kotlin. Now, uh, so let's begin. Now beginning your Kotlin. Kotlin is a great language that makes Android development easier, faster and much more pleasant. We will discuss what is Kotlin and look at many Kotlin examples that will help us to build even better Android applications. Remember, Android applications can be built on Java or Kotlin. We would be using Kotlin. First, also in this chapter, okay, creating new project. Now, hello to Kotlin. Kotlin is a modern, statically typed Android compatible language that fixes many Java problems such as non-pointer exceptions or excessive code and verbosity. Kotlin is a language inspired by Swift, Scala, and other programming language. Kotlin was designed by JetBrains based on analysis of both developers' experiences. Now, best usage guidelines, most important are clean code and effective Java and data what this language is used. Deep analysis of the programming language has been done. Kotlin tries not to repeat the mistakes from other languages. So he's saying Kotlin is a new language and it has overcome many other languages. So in 2017, Google officially named Kotlin as the language for Android development. But Kotlin has been here for some time because there was a legal battle between Google and Sun Microsystems. The thing is, Google want previously to previously to using Kotlin, Java was used, but then since it was a software, it was an enterprise. You had to buy an enterprise license from Java to use it. And then hence Google decided to make their own language. Although Kotlin is a different language, but it still uses GVM. It offers many safety features in terms of nullability and immutability. It is statically typed, so the type has to be known at compile time. Compiler can verify that whether the property, okay, this will be familiar from Java. Because although it's different, but it has many similarities to Java with respect to Java because it's on the same GVM, right? Safety easy. Debug detecting bugs can be easier. Then we have something called as immutable data as well. That is on the so for example, you can have two types of data, right? Mutable and immutable. Mutable is something that you can do both read write, and immutable is only read only. Conciseness. Java's verbosity was eliminated. So Java is a very verbose language. By mean, even if you need to um, uh, like even need to if you need to write like a simple print, you need to write a lot of code, right? That all was reduced. And so one boilerplate code was greatly reduced, and even comparing Kotlin to Java. As a result, code is so easier to read and interoperability. Now, Kotlin is designed to seamless. So, although you might have seen in that old projects are in what do you say developed in Java, what Kotlin has done is it has made it like interoperable. That means code from Java can easily be migrated to code to Kotlin. So that's now Google has named Kotlin as the official language for Android. Versatility, you can target many platforms, mobile applications, server side. He's saying that you can use it for like a lot of applications. Generally, you have a stack that is a front end stack, and then you have a back end stack, right? And then you have UIs. So we will be using so Spring Boot is still dominant, like the Mon stack or Mongo Express, the Node.js part that is also still dominant as a backend tool. So there are two. So if you see that way, the backend can be divided into two types of stacks. One is Spring Boot, another is the Node.js stack. And not application any programming. And then now in front end, in iOS we have Swift and Swift UI. You have UI kit as well. And then similarly now in Android, since Google has named Kotlin as the official language, so you have Kotlin. Any programming language can be is only as good as its tool support. Kotlin has outstanding support for modern IDE such as Android. So we have outstanding support. Android Studio, IntelliJ IDE. These are all IDEs, right? Common such as code refactoring are handled properly. Kotlin turn works hard to make Kotlin plugin better with every single release. Most of the bugs are quickly fixed, and many of the features requested by community are implemented. So you have two things. So there is this is basically a link. Android application development becomes much more efficient with pleasant with Kotlin. Kotlin is compatible with JDK6, so applications in Kotlin can run on Android devices that precede or basically Android versions that are less than Android 4. Kotlin aims so it is going to bring the good of both of Java and other languages together. Now let's see some examples. Now it's Kotlin is really useful learning Android development because syntax is similar to Java, and Kotlin offers a natural Java evolution at the beginning. Java a developer usually likes Kotlin code by having in mind habits from Java, but then now it has been with the goal of this section. So in this section, we'll be focusing how to achieve it. Let's start. So they have a where name I got. So remember here, it is not required semicolons, and at times when the value is assigned, you do not need to give it as a string. Let's type insert because it's inferred from the context. Each time the compiler can figure out. Similarly in Swift, whenever you assign a value, the type is inferred. But if you just declare it that way, you need to mention the type. The variable is an inferred string type. Okay, now let's see how Kotlin improves this way. So now the thing. Okay, so this is a string. This is a we are trying to assign a number, right? Now what happens is string and number conversion can be done, right? The variable is an inferred string type, which is a different value, which will result in a compiler. Let's see how. Now this was so if you do this in Java, you would be getting an error. But then how does Kotlin do? What does Kotlin do? Now Kotlin will try to with no more join strings using the plus character in Kotlin. We can easily incorporate single variable or even whole like so. Just mm, yeah, because you cannot do type conversions, right? Kotlin is strongly typed, so each variable has an advocate. So what he's saying is this is not possible in Kotlin. Like if that type conversion implicit is not possible. And then okay, so now we can use uh, can directly add to this variable as directly we add can be here, but in string you need to in Java you need to do string concatenation, right? You can just do this dollar sign. Similarly in even in Swift, right? You just need that thing. In Java, any variable can store null values. In Kotlin, now strict null safety. Okay, so this is that null safety thing. I mean, even in Swift, if you say null safety is something that is taken care of by using optionals, right? So we say that this can be nullable. So if this is the way this is going to work is if this is null, like if this value is null, then entire value is going to be null. Kotlin also allows nullable in paper. We can use save call up. So the method is something which will be unlocked only if saved in instance as a non-null value. Like this do something will work only if this is null. Otherwise, if this is not null, then this question mark will like act as a bridge. It will just join these statements. Kotlin has again we have new data types. So then we can allow us to define an end inclusive range. So for example, 1 to 10. So both 1 and 10 are included. Now this is why Kotlin introduces pair data type combines with infix. This is something new, like we can have pair data type. Now we can deconstruct it into separate. So okay, deconstruction is possible. And you so this capital has two things, right? And now each will get the specific value. You can iterate through a list of pairs. Then we can use the for each function. Again, we will be using list of this will be, so the for each will work in sync with list of. The Kotlin distinguishes between mutable and immutable collection by providing a set of interfaces. So we have certain interfaces that help us to distinguish. And then now, okay, immutable collection means that the collection state can change. Yeah, immutable is something once initialized, it's fixed. You can't change it. Then like you cannot mutate it. But then that is then something called as mutable collections came into existence, where obviously you can do the mutations. Then we came with lambda expressions. So we had this on click listeners. Then um, now the standard contains many functions that allow us to perform operations on collections in a simple and concise way. We can easily perform stream processing on list and other possible methods. Notice that we don't have to pass parameters to a lambda. We can also define our own. Now we have something called as asynchronous that runs on back, but it's not this third part comes into. It's very important in building apps, right? Even in iOS, you have something called as concurrency, so we'll be seeing that. Then you can do smartcast, like sometimes implicit casting will work, and then Kotlin load the X. So then simple functions return a value of single expression. You can use a function with an expression. Again, the only limitation. So this advantage is by over of Kotlin um over Java or something. So this is again when you want to parsing an HTTP request, right? So you have something interface builders, and we have extensions as well. Dealing with Kotlin code. So first is let's install. I already have. I guess I have Android Studio already installed in Mini. But what you can do is you can install. So go to Android Studio and then just click on download. Just visit. This is the official Android Studio is like an IDE where you have the interface builder as well. Like you can see the UI as well, and then you go to essentials. Oh, so just go into developers, and then just just stay. This is basically all the latest that is happening, and they have a YouTube as well. So if you want, you can see them. This is Android developers, and then so yeah, you need to search about it's what you need to search into. You need to search download. So then download. So then just scroll down. So yeah, just click on this SDK. Just I have read and accepted, and then now see, it automatically detects what kind of chip you are. I mean, what kind of OS you're using. So I'm using Mac OS, so it has already detected that it's my Mac, and then based on what chip you're using, you can do just click on that, and then the DMG will be created, and then just proceed on installing. Okay, the fastest way. So there is okay if you have like a uh, what you say if you're it will be a little heavy on computing. So if you have a very slow thing, you can go to Kotlin org as well. Like they have a website as well, so you can learn. So this is try Kotlin. It's a free playground. You can learn Kotlin here as well. What's the try.kotlin? Okay, so that's it's better we go to. I guess it's not doing that. So let's go here and say try dot kotlin now. See, we already the. Just go here. This is the official playground. You can, yeah, you can. There's no just run. You'll get the output as well. So it's running on JVM. It shows these are all. Oh, it doesn't have canvas as well. That's good. So yeah, you can. And you have solutions, docs, community. This is free, right? It's a free version. Oh, you can learn if you want to learn Kotlin. So he's saying there is this thing. Oh, you can learn everything. See, and then he's saying how well what places map you have. So you can learn Kotlin from Kotlin website. No need to download any specific website. You can just come here, docs, seeds everything, Kotlin, multi-platform, new in Kotlin. Everything is here. Basics, concepts, types, control flow, data analysis, everything is here. APIs, standard libs. So this is our APIs, right? These are not packages. So there is a slight difference between APIs and other stuff. And then this is compilers, learning materials, other resources. Okay, we can run Kotlin code using JavaScript or JVM. Kotlin implementations are easily switched between Kotlin versions. We would be the main is the so if you go back here, it's much like Java, right? You have the main. This is the entry point where we might start. Android Studio, it's basically an existing tool that works with Kotlin Core. We can do debugging, link checks. We can do a lot of more. We can have activities as well. Many entry points, different intents. We'll see what this is. The first is configuring. So you, I have Android Studio already. So go Android. I don't know. Yeah, go Android Studio, and then now see. So I had some other applications running, and then so it's like plugins. To be able to use Kotlin, you need to have this. Okay, starting from Android 3, full support for Kotlin was added. Installation of is not required. So when I did it, this is a version which is greater than 3.0, right? So I did not when I installed it. Kotlin was already it's 2.1. It's the you can just search for this version, I guess. So yeah, this version is it's Android Studio Ladybug. It was built. It's the most recent one that I'm using right now. And then okay, and so previously you had to say I have Kotlin. Right now it doesn't show even. This is by default selected. And then okay, so then let's go back. Not able to use Kotlin, blah, blah. Okay, the shortcut is macOS etc. Use the corresponding, then select Android. So he's saying, go to file, then I say new. Also, right now but this is to select Android with Gradle, all models, and then this is still installation. So configure a new project. So go, this is a new project. So then it will tell you, yeah, let's take an empty activity. What is an activity? Then you have my application by default. Then this is basically your application in the reverse order. Domain package name is always the opposite. Then you have then this. Okay, so then let's finish this. Then this is my application, and then this is opened by Gradle only. Then using a Kotlin new Android project. So then you have Java. So there should be Java. Okay, I'm here. And then so this is empty activity already done. Now I need to check. Running and debugging a project is exactly the same in Java. Okay, now Java to Kotlin conversion. Migration of existing Java files is quite easy because we use Java in Kotlin. The first way is to convert the whole Java files into Kotlin using there is a convert Java file. The second way is to paste Java code into an existing Kotlin code, and the code will also be converted. If you do not write a particular piece of code in Kotlin, you can run in Java. You can simply copy it to the clipboard and then paste it. The ID will display. So this ID is a little bit smart ID. If you write anything in Java, it turns into Kotlin. Alternate ways to run Kotlin code. Understood offices alternative in Kotlin code without the need to run. Okay, so you can like have a playground as well. The way to Kotlin is okay. Kotlin read evaluate print loop REPL. So then how you go is you go to I guess file. No, you get there should be. So it doesn't show me the option for tools here. Let's see. This is remember this is .kt file is. I have to open. I guess it should be somewhere. No, I don't want to open anything. We'll learn what Gradle is and oh, you get a Kotlin file, right? No, you have a Kotlin class or file. You can just so then it will ask you what do you want. So let's see. This is something else, right? I don't have tools. I have run. So if I go here, I have file edit. I don't have any option for tools, right? So ID settings, new project setup, API ID, no local extra. There should be an option where which will give me an option. There should be an option that says, you do navigate code. Refactor, no. Okay, let's see. We'll have to search. Where is so let's get rid of this and say how to open Kotlin REPL in Android Studio. So it's okay. Oh, so right now it's not available. Using scratch files feature, so you go to open file new scratch files, you go to file. Oh, so it's not there. You go to file new and then scratch file, okay, and then then this should be an option Kotlin. You have Java, JSON, JSP, and then I guess is selecting Kotlin maybe. Okay, fine. Insert on no, we don't want to choose Kotlin as a language. Okay, so where we are, you go to file new scratch. Okay, scratch file, and then choose Kotlin using. So let's choose. Oh, there is here Kotlin. Also, this has the okay. So there is yeah, you have REPL over here, and then you need to save it, right? Also, this is deprecated in new versions. You don't have directly. There is a workaround to get. You go to file, go to new, go to scratch file, then select Kotlin in this section. There will be an option called Kotlin slash native def. Don't select this. Just click on Kotlin and okay. Now Kotlin under the now we will focus mainly on but keeping this in mind Kotlin can be can compile to multiple platforms, can be compiled to Java, and then to there is a simplified version. How it works? A file with .java contains java.kt is Kotlin. So he's saying dot class bytecode. So the thing with this bytecode is, so Java was now the main goal, or the aim to develop Java as a programming language was it should be write write anywhere and run anywhere. Like you can write. It was basically meant to be platform independent. That is what the developers were trying to achieve. So you can write on anywhere, like on by anywhere I mean you can write it on any computer. So for example, for your personal or something, and then you can run it anywhere. So then there is something called as the Kotlin standard library. Yeah, the Kotlin standard. It's a very small library that is distributed. So we'll see. The Kotlin standard library provides essential. So the okay. So now what he's trying is in Kotlin, runtime was required to run applications written in Kotlin. In fact, in 1.1 there were two Kotlin runtime. Okay. To reduce the amount of confusion, both the artifacts will be merged into a. Okay. Now the Kotlin standard library performs. So the so we say these are all in the standard library. Yeah, data types, collections list. These are in all in the standard library. We'll see what this library is later on. Now Kotlin has a strong commercial support. JetBrains again that developers. So you have IntelliJ developed by JetBrains. And Android Studio is based on JetBrains. IntelliJ idea. The thing with IntelliJ, it's not free. You'll have to buy it. It's a very popular idea generally for Java. People use that for Java development. Kotlin is quite a mature language. Okay, then he's saying when it was developed, the first. Okay, so now this is how the Kotlin was what Kotlin was developed. So in 2010, the development started. Then in 2011, JetBrains developed unveiled Kotlin. Then it made in open source. In 2061, quarter one, they released the 1.2. Then in 2 and 4, they released 1.0 to 1.7, like 6 versions. And then in 27 quarter 2, Android, Google officially made it as the language. I mean, so actually there was some okay after the versions and more companies started to support the Kotlin project. Gradle added support for Kotlin into building scripts. Square, the biggest creator of Android libraries, posted that they strongly support Kotlin. And finally, Google announced Kotlin support for Android. The thing why he's saying is Google is eventually you will be hosting your uh, apps on the Google Play Store, right? So then the Google Play, so Play Store is owned by Google, right? All your Android apps will go in there. So then Google then officially announced it. Forget everything. We are going to make this as the language. Now every tool released by the Android team will be compatible with not. So what they did is um so what this means is now every app on there has support for both Android and Java. This means that every tool, okay. Google and JetBrains have become a partnership to create a no profit foundation. So now they are. This is the future development of Kotlin, and then Kotlin is similar to Apple Swift, very similar. In fact, the way I told you type annotation that is also similar in Swift. Even Apple has declared Swift UI to be Swift as the go-to language, and Swift UI to be the go-to UI. So it's like um, UI which is developed in Swift. Like you can develop the UI in using Swift language. Previously, UI was UI kit and language was Objective C, but then now that have changed. Okay, so now laying the foundation. And this chapter is largely devoted to the fundamental building blocks. So we'll see variables, values, constants, time inferences, null safety again. This is very important. Smart cast, Kotlin data types, control structures, variables. Now in Kotlin we have two types of variables, var and val. The first one is mutable and can be updated. The var is used to define a variable in Kotlin. It's relevant to the normal non-final Java variable. If our variable is seen at some point, okay. So remember, the entry point is going to be the main. So you need to have the main set up first. So you got to have main, and then this is where okay. So you're saying add the function body. That's okay. Come here. So this is the entry point of our code. So we are going to come in to execute. This is some beta testing something which has come. You can use it. We'll do our okay. So let's check that. Okay, now we have variables, values, constants, type inference, strict null safety. So variables, there are two types, as you said, var and val. Var is something that is so Kotlin is a type strict language that is only read reference. The val can contain a custom getter, so technically it can return different objects. So now what is this getter, and we'll see that. We'll see when we come to objects and classes. The val keyword is equivalent of Java variable with the final modifier using the variable will never be updated. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Let's just go back a little bit and try to see where we are. Oh, this is working right now. Oh, yeah, it's okay. That's good. Yeah. So we are with Android development. So there are two ways you can start mobile app development. One is you do native development, and then is cross platform. That means you can make like on like there is no need to have two separate apps, like both iOS and Android support. So this is cross platform, right? And then you have native, that is only you have two different apps. So generally, so it was previously Java, now this has been to now it has become this has changed to Kotlin. The thing is, and microsystems there, so if you see, if you want to Google further, you can the lawsuit. It's not my son, it's my Oracle. I guess they found. So in yeah, that was about in 2010, right? When Android was coming into the market. So then to lawsuit, right? But then Google wanted to come back at it. So then yeah, so that's as I'm saying. Eventually Google did win the lawsuit, but then it comes with its own reputational damage, right? So then Google's ego was hurt. Although they, because Java is not free to use, right? If you are an enterprise building an enterprise application, you will have to take it on a license basis from Oracle. So the thing is, they were using Java APIs, but without paying them. And then Google declared, Kotlin. So then Google got very bugged, and then they made it first language. That's all. Okay, so then like what all projects we can do. We will be doing this kind of projects, and then so now um okay, so right now we haven't gone deep dive into folder structure because we are still learning Kotlin, right? So remember, always the main is where we would be writing our code. We will see. Then again, for native development, we are using Kotlin. Hybrid app, there are so many things, right? Cross platform, we work on platforms either, and you have React Native, you have Flutter, these are on cross platforms. Okay, so what is the basic recipe to do? First is you need hands-on with Kotlin. Then this is then you do UI. Okay, then you go to something called as building the UI, then the activities, then fragments, and then permissions for handling, right? For example, yeah, when you are running your application, will ask for permissions, right? To use wallet, to grant access to location, and so then that is what. Then you will have notifications, pop in notifications. For example, you have, right, every you get quite often from Zep, from like Swiggy, and then Zepto. Always this Android development and as compared to web development web development is more common because there are more developers there and less developers in here. So this is not that I mean, but the in development stage, if you see, you have more developers in web web space, but in Android you have less. Android and iOS, yeah, but most people use Android apps because smartphones is cheap, right? Especially low price. And iOS is something that a lot of Western countries use because many providers have deals, right? You can do deals with and deals with iOS or deals with Apple, like you get same price of an additional functionalities. So people tend to go for a better phone, right? If you're getting if you're getting an Android and you're getting an iOS, both at same price, right? You will go for an iOS. Okay, so then this is what all apps we will be doing. Different types again. Oh, so this is the first topic: variables and data types, and then the main function. So this is where we would the entry point of our code. As we mentioned, our code will start from here. There are certain reserved keywords. Okay, now variables. Okay, so as we said, we have two types of variables. I don't know, I have made another arrow. So there are two types, one is mutable and immutable. Anything declared using var is remember and then let's add one more point here. Although what do you say, uh, Kotlin is a strictly typed language, you need to mention uh, the type of the variable used. So then there is something called as when to mention the type. So you have type annotation as well. So let's say so when value is assigned the type is inferred automatically. And when we don't assign any value, then you need to mention the type. Okay. And then yeah, val anything with val is not mutable. And okay, so this is something which is mutable, and using val is immutable. So this is immutable and this is mutable again. Now okay, notice that the type of the variable is val relates to the referential of the properties. Okay, now the val is something like final. Using immutable variable is useful because it makes the variable never be updated. The concept of immutability is also helpful for working with multiple threads without worrying the purpose data synchronization. To declare immutable values, we use val. The create float and then the compiler will throw an error. Kotlin also allows us to define variable and functions at the level of file. We will see further. Notice that the type the variable reference relates to the reference itself, not the. Now this is something. So now this is right now we are not dealing with the references. When we'll get to references, then we'll see whether that collection is getting or what's happening with that. Get type inference, as I said, if you have written type is we saw in previous examples, Kotlin is so let's write some code now. We have the playground, right? So you just open, let's get this thing out, and then this is you have where, and then you do title, and then you mention the type, right? String. Now this error might be is that not used variable, something like that. So that's okay. Okay, and then you give it like something to say. This is although semicolons are not mandatory. Like in other languages, you need to mention that this is the end of line. Just run it. Explicitly given type is redundant here. Yeah, Kotlin. The type, but do we need an okay? So yeah, this is what smart behavior is. Right? This is what I was talking about. When So Kotlin is a little bit smart as well. I mean the error that it throws is explicitly given type is redundant. By what is meaning is, so as we said, when value is assigned, the type is in for, right. I did say this. So if you are assigning a value, it's not good way to get this. This is now a better way. Okay. We specify the variable type, it was obvious, okay, but keep in mind that declaration is omitted. The type of variable is implicitly set to string because Kotlin is a strongly typed language. That is why both of declarations are the same. Kotlin will be able to properly validate if a type of string we are trying to assign. Now see, um, yeah, the reassignment is possible, right? So if I do something like, as it's giving me the value 10 assigned to a string defined, the integer return does not conform to the expected type string. So you cannot do this. Okay, now the closest one up in the type hierarchy is any. Okay, so there is something called as these are types, right? So these are, I guess, not objects. These are all primitives. I feel the way this would work is copy, and the any type is an equivalent of Java object type is the root of Kotlin type hierarchy. All classes in Kotlin exclusively inherit from type any. Even primitive types such as string. Also, the string and int are primitives. He's saying, but they inherit. So there is something called as then it defines three methods equal to strings. The conditional library contains a few extensions of this one we will discuss. Okay, now you can see type inference is not limited to primitive values. Let's look at inferring types directly from functions. So where total sum. Type inference also works for generic types. So if it's generic, again you don't need to mention the type. Okay, in the preceding example, a pair. Okay, so there is something interesting happening here. So this is list. Type inference. Okay. We'll see that. Type inference is a great job, but still we can explicitly define if you want. For example, when dealing with integers, the int type is always the default choice. You can still explicitly define. You can have int, short, long, double. For now, we know that there are more cases in code when time declaration. Now here we are getting an error is because the variable will be mentioned later, so there is no way to determine its type. So we need to mention the type. Okay, so then this is strict null safety. Now a missing value is something called as y is directly gone to null. Oh, so primitive data types. Char arrays. Okay, so you want us to learn null safety, then let's go for null safety. Okay, the null string according to the missing null check is the most. Yeah, so there is an issue in Java, right? Null safety is not taken care of in Java. So then we do something called as, in Kotlin we have something called as we can do null safety. By default, regular types cannot be null unless they are explicitly allowed. To store null references, we must mark the variable as nullable. For example, we say, okay, so what he's saying is you cannot directly store a null. You'll have to mark it that it can. Signal safety is marked because type, since it's strictly type, right? Um, you can't directly assign this. you need to mention this. So, okay, you cannot do the direct assignment. So then, okay. Strict null safety is a part of Kotlin instance system by default. Now, why this is because we don't want null pointer or exceptions to occur, right? Remember the main marketing or the USP was it kind of overcomes the null safety problem in Java. So now we do not have null references in Kotlin. I cannot do this. This is not possible. Now we will have to add something else. We'll have to use a a more better way is using this always operator or question mark. So what you can do is no, you can by using the always operator as second just do this can be bypassed, but then you need to use the always operator as, so you say, and you are telling that this can be null, so you need to specify this thing question mark, so this indicates it can be null. The compiler will throw an error because this type does not allow null. The compiler will allow because this type is marked as nullable, so you'll have to specifically. We learn how to deal with this problem in the next section. Every non-level type is as its non-level type. So in previously we said that everything inspires from, and it's from what you say, null from any, right? Now anything type is an empty type which cannot be. Okay. Now assignment possible. We'll discuss ways of dealing nullable values in the following sections. We'll get back to the time definitions. Generic types, there are multiple possibilities for defining nullables. So now right now we are not into. It's a question mark followed by a dot. Okay, so now while accessing the value, we need to do something called a safe cache. The always operator again, as I said. Another tool to deal with nullity is not null assertions represented by a question mark. These are not explicitly cast. Okay, so the thing is there are different ways to access null, right? Okay, now so one of them is the service operators. So is this the same like in, so we cannot directly access null in Kotlin. We need to interrupt, like, because in Swift there is this interrupting thing. So even in Kotlin you have this null safety, right? You cannot, it's not allowed. So then interrupting is how to do it in a safe way. Okay. So first is the safe call operator. Then you, okay, this is not the address. This is safe call. Let's get rid of this, I guess, from here. Now let's get rid of this into some other page. We'll arrange that later on. But then, yeah, now let's. So then how to act? So I mean, so let's say null variables. So the first is the safe call operator. So not always. Yeah, something called as safe operator, it is denoted by, yeah, this is a question mark and a dot. Then you have always operator. Okay, yeah. Provides a default value when the, so this is the always one. So for example, you do, first is always you need to mention that it can hold a null value, right? So you do null, and then you do, let's shift it more towards the left hand side. So you come here, do val length, and then so when this is, so diff, then you this is the default value for null. And then there is something called as first. So you do, okay, there is one more option to do this. This is like something let we haven't studied, but then non-null assertion. So this is one more way to do. This is not preferred, I guess. This is like forces. The problem comes when you're trying to access that value or assign it. This is, say, forceful. This is like forcing Kotlin. So then you come and then you do dot length. This is like forceful accessing. So I never do this. Then is safe casting. Safely cast. Okay, so this is the else operator. Not null. Again, this is okay. Then there is the let function. He's saying about the let function. Okay. This allows save access to a nullable value within a block of code. So, but the way another tool where nullable value is to let function. This is not an operator, not a language. Especially, it's a special function. So then using special functions. Using so then first one is let. So the way this is going to work is um you know val name colon string and and then so this is let, then you have a block of code here and print and then so what we are doing is if this is not null, then this will work. The right expression is how the safe code will only be added to the left. Right, okay. The right hand side is a let function that takes another function, lambda, as a parameter. So this is the definition of that function. The code will define the block after let will be executed. If the save instance state is not null, we will none more to define. Now nullability and Java. We have that Kotlin requires us to explicitly define references that can hold null values. Remember the problem with null values is only when we are trying to okay, so then the problem with null values is when we are trying to access a value, I guess. Yeah, the problem is while accessing, you cannot directly access null values. Where that Kotlin requires us to explicitly define differences that can hold null values. Java, on the other hand, is much more lenient about nullability. So we wonder how Kotlin handles types come from Java. Basically, the whole entire SDK and libraries written in Java. So now he's saying is in Java there is no feature like null, right? So how is Android going to do that null thing conversion? Whenever possible, the Kotlin will determine nullability from the code and represents it as actual nullable and nullable using. Okay, so then what does it do is it checks whatever it thinks that could be null, then it does a null. Then however it is not possible to determine nullability. All variables coming from Java can be null except ones annotated as nullable. We could treat all of them as nullable and check before each access, but this will be impractical. As a solution to this problem, Kotlin introduced platform types. Now these are types that comes from Java types with relaxed null checks, meaning that each platform type may be null or not. Although we cannot declare platform type myself, this specific syntax exists because now he's trying to make us understand like what happens when we do Java to so now okay, there's a problem here. Java code to Kotlin conversion. So wherever possible, null types will be detected, but all variables in Java do not have support for null pointers. So for in such cases, what we do, In such cases, we use something like we use platform type. Now this is specific to the platform. This is uh, this is specific to the platform itself. We cannot declare. Okay, we will treat each platform type as nullable, not, but then we don't know, right? Now cast. Basic casting is supported by many programming languages. Casting is basically converting an object of one to another type. In Java, we need to cast an object before accessing its member. Kotlin simplifies this concept of casting but moves it. So there is something called as smart. Okay. In strongly typed languages such as Java, we need to convert values from one type to another using the cast. A casting operation is taken. Okay. In the preceding example, there is an instance of product fragment that is. Okay, we need to do casting. We are converting that product fragment to product frag with that as an hyphen in between. Okay, value. Okay, now is a subtype of fragment. The preceding example. The problem is that casting to an incompatible type will throw exception class exception. That's why as operator is called unsafe. Okay, you can do type casting using the as, but then if the types are not okay, then there is one more thing. Okay, before cast, there was something casting, right? Using save cast and then go. So let's do here. So casting in Kotlin. So what is casting? Casting is converting one type to another type. Now in Kotlin, casting can be done two ways. So we have two things. So what is one is unsafe cast and then there is safe. So where unsafe, what we mean is that if the types, if there is a mismatch in type casting, right? What if we the types we are converting to are incompatible, we get an exception here. And then syntax unsafe cast is done using as. So you do the unsafe casting here, and then when you come here, if types are incompatible, it becomes null. Returns null if types are incompatible. Returns. So safe cast is done using as in question mark. Now smart cast converting a type of one type to another, but as opposed to self casting, it's done implicitly. do not need to do. Okay, smart cast, so it's doing it implicitly. So even in smart cast there will be two things, nullable and non-nullable. Okay, so then yeah, this is, we haven't seen the run function, but the save casting, because this is when we are trying to do call, this is done. Now type smart cast, let's represent the animal. Okay, if assume if you want to call the isAngry method, we want to check. Okay, in type smart cast as well, there are two possible ways. Then we can do something like nullity checks as well. Okay, primitive data types. So this is the most important thing. Let's see how much big is the lecture. If it's 1 hour, oh, it's almost an hour. Okay, we'll be continuing with primitives in the next. And yeah, that's all for this lecture. Hope to see you guys in the next one as well. Till that time, bye, take care.